It's Emmy in the background.
It's adorable, though.
Let's see how it looks.
Yeah, I was talking soft too. I fixed it with that old draft they had. Yeah, I was talking soft too. I fixed it with that old draft.
Oh! Bro, I'm still Caleb Williams on Heisman too. After what I seen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of hearing about Joe Milton.
Yeah, he did go crazy.
I'm kind of tired of hearing about Joe Milton.
Bro, Joe Milton, it's not happening. Yeah, he did go crazy. Bro, Joe Milton, it's not happening.
Mm.
Now the phone's off. It won't pick that up anymore. Ooh.
Boom, boom, boom.
And I'll take this video after we're done with this one.
Can I edit it up?
Yeah, I'll chop it up and I'll put it in the actual when I make the Facebook page tonight.
Okay.
That way, I'll take the one from Facebook. I'll put it on that page too. So, all right, welcome to the Gator Tide.
Better known as Tide Gator. What y'all doing?
I am one of your hosts, David Arthur.
Jameson, how's it going, y'all? After week 0, college football, got a little bit of intel here. Gonna get started with it.
All right, so week 0 reactions that we have. We're gonna start off with USC. I liked what I seen from Caleb Williams. I know you were just talking about that. He really didn't skip a beat from Oklahoma or his first season with USC.
No, I mean, final stat line were 18 of 25. He's 278, 4 tutties. So, I mean, not really much to judge with San Jose State, but, I mean, still stat line. Pretty decent stat line to start the year off.
I'm worried still about their defense as of third down.
Yeah.
There was a 3rd and 22. Quarterback tucks the ball and runs. Not even a draw play, really.
Yeah, just scramble.
Yep, and picks up about 25 yards. That's something that, it's definitely going to hold them back in the Big Ten in the future.
And then later on in the playoff this year, I mean,
teams like Utah, you're gonna have to make sure you get off the field on third down.
You gotta get off the field on third down, and I really thought going into this year, I mean, they have a couple of guys up front. They got Barry Alexander from Georgia out of the transfer portal. I believe Shane Lee from the linebacker from Alabama still there, but I mean, I'm still just not seeing. I don't know. Lincoln Riley, man, he produces all these quarterbacks. His offensive system is, I mean, it's genius, but
he's got to get something together, coordinator wise and defense.
There has to be something. Something needs to change on the defensive side of the ball with Lincoln Riley, man.
You'll see that change once Oklahoma transitions into the SEC and having Brent Venables as a head coach. The defense is going to be what's first mindset, and that's kind of what Kirby did when he went to Georgia. Their defense was kind of what you talked about, more so as of a whole. And when you're looking at Oklahoma, you have Brent Venables, and you've seen what he did with Clemson for how long he was there.
It was at least 8 years, at least 10 years.
Great defenses, a lot of first-round draft picks, a lot of draft picks in general.
National championships.
Yep, and now he's trying to bring that culture to Oklahoma. And there was something that he said in regards of recruiting: don't commit to me unless you're 100% committed, because I want a game plan around you. I really want people that are bought into Sooner Nation. That's what he said, and I thought that's something that's really could change the atmosphere of a culture inside of a program. Due to something what Riley had, it was more offensive based. I think that's already kind of a defensive approach.
Yeah, absolutely, and you kind of see it on the recruiting trail too. I mean,
David Stone.
Yeah,
just yesterday.
So I mean, Oklahoma, Venables he's gonna get guys, especially up front. But I mean, let's keep on the topic of Oklahoma and kind of making that merge to the SEC. Next year, they're gonna have a gauntlet. So defensive side of the ball, SEC. I mean, it's still we're in the fastball offense era in the SEC, but it's still there's some times we can go 12 personnel, 22 personnel, no fullbacks in the game, but multiple tight end sets.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just something coming over from the Big 12. How do you think they are going to adapt defensively? They have the dudes, but I mean,
if it was Lincoln Riley, I would have said it would have been similar to when A&M and Missouri came. But actually, I have to take that back because that's what I thought at first. But it actually kind of is still because when Missouri came, it was more of a defensive-based team.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M was more of an offensive-based team. Yeah. So Oklahoma and Texas is an offensive-based team as of right now.
Yes.
And then Oklahoma being a defensive-based team, and which is kind of crazy to me hearing that any Big 12 team coming is defensive-based. But I mean, I think they're going to adapt really well. I think it's going to create a lot more competition in the SEC, make it that much more harder to get to Atlanta. It's just.
You agree on a 9-game SEC schedule?
No
divisions, just straight 9 games.
Straight 9, but I would prefer Alabama, Auburn coming over to the East, sending Missouri to the West, and then Texas, Oklahoma stay in the West. I think it is. I think there's 2 teams that could be. There's 3 teams that could be in the East, if I'm not mistaken. But there's just. I like the division aspect of it because now the East is competing again.
I kind of agree. Bring over Alabama, Auburn to the East, and just throw in those 2 back in the West to replace them.
Yeah.
But I mean, then like we were talking about last episode, the chances of losing rivalries and stuff like that. But
it hurts.
Then again, in a 9-game schedule, those are going to become built in.
Oh, and you already got to look at it like this, too. Texas and Alabama are already building a rivalry. Yeah. That's already emerging.
It's probably already said. They're blue bloods, man. Like, that's like Duke and Kansas playing in basketball. Like, there's hatred there just because they're both elite. They both were elite at one point.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's definitely going to bring a lot more excitement to the SEC, which I still say I hate it for all the smaller schools, not just the smaller schools, but the smaller programs and other sports that are affected by the realignment. But I do love the aspect of USC competing with Ohio State maybe every year. Like that's just something that, Oregon played Ohio State. Did they not beat Ohio State in the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken? That was actually a competitive game
in Columbus,
and it was a good. Look forward to something like that every year with 2 teams, 2 brands that bring a lot of revenue to the game of college football, competing every year.
And now it's kind of going to be the way the SEC is trending. It's going to be week in and week out that you're going to get those type of big time games. This is something I was talking to somebody at work the other day. I hate that the CBS doesn't have the contract anymore.
It's always sounded right with SEC teams.
Yeah.
It's always just, just waking up.
Especially now, Gary and Vern would be going crazy. Brad now.
Nestle.
But I miss Vern.
Me too.
But, we're still let's touch on the topic, still kind of stay on Caleb Williams. After week 1, are we still Heisman front runners? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's
kind of like my look on the rankings in Georgia, almost unanimously being 1. After you've done so much, you
he
deserve that top spot.
He does, and he definitely does. And if there's anybody that I've seen be able to win more than 1 Heisman. I look at Caleb Williams, how he plays in the conference that he's playing in against the defenses that he's going up against.
The schools schedule. It's not.
It's his to lose.
USC, but
it's his to lose.
It is. He's going to have a game where he's
somebody's really going to have to be competing with him for the Heisman.
And I really think after week 1, what I seen, jumping right into the Notre Dame game, I think Notre Dame defensively. I mean, what did I say? Notre Dame's 47 for, or Navy on the ground, 47 touches, 125, no touchdowns, triple option, week 0. Coming straight out of
clock management offense too.
But in straight out of fall camp, Notre Dame came out and did that defensively against triple option.
Regardless of who you play, that's impressive.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like that's telling me Marcus Freeman hasn't prepared. They're locked in. Their linebackers were reading keys. Safeties were reading keys. Like
there's a lot of movement that goes on in a triple option. Yeah. You have to stay focused.
Yeah.
You have to stay focused.
Yeah, and then on the offensive side, where Sam Hartman, man. I mean, he's year 6 now in the league. Not in the league in college football, but just let's see his stat line. Hartman's 19 of 23. Once again, like the defense stats, I don't care who you're playing. 19 of 23. It's hard to do that on air.
Yeah, literally.
19 of 23, right. 251 in the air, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, Notre Dame with the offense. You seen with Ian Book when I say Ian Book was probably the best quarterback they've had last decade.
Oh wow, yeah.
And but what he brought to the table was the competitiveness of Notre Dame and that brand itself. I'm not saying it's intimidating, but people are going to take notice. Yeah, they're going to take it serious.
People respect it. And then going into that, that kind of reminds me of physicality. Mm-hmm. Them dudes up front, Joe Alt.
Yeah, they were.
Joe Alt on that Notre Dame offensive line, bro. He solidified his top 10, top 15 pick status this week, man. That dude up front is nasty. Notre Dame is nasty up front, and I'm telling y'all, the schedule is a little. I think they're Tennessee State, they're NC State, Central Michigan, Ohio State there, but it's in South Bend, Duke, Louisville. That's a favorable schedule, man.
And they got USC home as well too.
And at let's see.
They got to go to Clemson. Week
7, USC at home. I'm circling that one. Ohio State coming off of Central Michigan there. But, like I said, they're both in South Bend. Mm-hmm. And I think that offense is going to be rolling by then.
Yeah.
By the Ohio State game, if Hartman's 19 of 23, if he can play that good and that defense, especially that rush defense, man, they were setting the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They were setting the line of scrimmage. Notre Dame, they're not getting enough respect right now, man. Show me a little bit. It was Navy. I totally understand, but show me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely showed me something. That competitiveness that brand has had in the past and that they've lacked in the recent times. I think it's going to be a different season.
We're going to pound you. This is what Marcus Freeman is saying. We're going to pound you, and then we're going to play action the hell out of you. Mm-hmm. So, Isaac Estime, what is he, 16? Totaled it 16 times, 95 yards, touchdown. Not crazy production, but toting that mug 16 times. Because I know they got a couple other dudes.
They do.
And if Hartman can get... it's just efficiency. They just look efficient to me on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, Notre Dame, 42-3 was the final there. Like I said, it's Navy, but triple option. I don't care who it is. They could have brought a high school team in there, and it takes a little bit to prepare for that. So, I'm big up on Notre Dame right now.
All right, so now we got Florida and Utah. Now, it's my squad. We're favored to lose this game by a touchdown. I want you to go first because I'm going to carry this one on a little bit on my opinions.
So Vegas were Utah -6.5. I see games in Salt Lake City, so I see it being a game going down to the wire. I think ball or clock management and ball security here
very important.
Going to be big because definitely for Florida, this is going to be. They're going to feel like they're in a third world country. Like I don't know, the humidity out there. It's going to be crazy. But I think if Graham Mertz can come out, if he can come out and solidify a rhythm. And I think ETN. I think some of the backs. I mean, he has a couple of weapons. If the backs can help him, defense can help him get him off the field. Is Rising going to play? Do we know?
Yeah, we still don't know on Cam Rising. There's no 100%
this
on him.
6.5 number is kind of I'm too much there. Like, I still think I'm leaning. I'm 55-50 Utah, but that 6.5 number, I think it's a little too steep. I think it's gonna be closer than that.
Yeah, it's definitely probably gonna come down to a field goal or PAT. With Florida and Utah, Utah, you got everything. You know what you're gonna get, especially if Cam Rising is coming out there to play. But if he's not 100%, that means you're probably pulling him away from the run a little bit more than you would. And when he played us last year, from what I did pay attention to the Utah game, Cam Rising definitely can create issues with you on his feet while he's hurt too.
Yeah.
So he's got that dog in him. You have to let it be known. But I will say this. The world was put on notice with Anthony Richardson that day. We don't have Anthony Richardson. So what is the team looking at outside of Anthony Richardson? They're looking at Graham Mertz. They're going to Wisconsin. They're looking at some film, seeing what they got. And I'm going to tell you right here, not afraid, and I'm not going to pull no punches. Wisconsin was not putting Graham Mertz in a position to win and to succeed at his best abilities. They were just trying to manage a clock. And Billy's going to try to do the same thing about managing a clock. But he wants his guy to do what his guy can do. And his guy can hit that short slant. His guy can hit that screen pass on the money to where the running back is not losing no momentum getting upfield. He's going to be able to do the small things that a quarterback is asked to do, and it's going to put everybody on notice. I think Graham Mertz is the guy that Billy wanted in the portal because there was tons of guys with their name in the portal that could have got what's his name? He transferred from Texas to Nebraska.
Hudson Card.
I think that was a perfect
Purdue.
fit.
Purdue. Was it Purdue?
No, it was Nebraska. He played with what's his name? Well, whatever his name. Hudson Card did play for Tennessee, but he played against Texas the same season. He played on Texas the same year. That's the Alabama game whenever Quinn Ewers went down. So
Hudson
he was on
and got hurt too. He got banged up against Bama too. Yeah.
But I just expect everybody to be put on notice that Billy knew what he was doing when he went and got Graham Mertz because there was no hesitation. And it was actually kind of confusing to everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of people really don't know that Graham Mertz was a highly touted quarterback at a high school.
Coming out of high school, yeah.
And Wisconsin.
What really, he's not appealing to the eye. Not to a lot of people, especially if you haven't done your study. But who coming out of Wisconsin here lately has been?
Nobody.
Not
that it's just...
Whenever
you hear quarterback in Wisconsin, you're not thinking of really names.
You're
names aren't really coming.
Throwing the ball 16 times a game.
Exactly, and Graham Mertz wants to throw the ball 30 to 40 times a game, and
I think Billy's gonna scheme on.
He's gonna get them right.
Like I think there's some guys there, man, up front. I think they'll be all right.
And athlete-wise,
we're still... In the backfield, Montrell, Trevor. You got Trevor Etienne.
Unfortunately, Cam Carroll went down, but that gives us more room to let Trayon Webb step up, and he's built the same frame as Trevor and Montrell. Not to mention that our receivers, for the longest time, I want to say it's been probably about 10 years now, Florida receivers get overlooked.
I like Pitts, bro.
Pitts, when he played... everybody's like, that's a tight end, but he's really a wide receiver, But, you got Kadarius Toney. You had Van Jefferson. You had Tyree Cleveland. You had Freddie Swain. You had Antonio Callaway. Like, I can keep going on a bunch of receivers that really didn't get their respect when it came to the game of college football. But Florida fans really appreciate these guys because they're slept on. It comes game time, and these guys can really go and get you 120 yards out of, 2 big bombs over half of the field. And, but that's one thing that, is going to put college football on notice, too, because I've already mentioned 2 freshmen that I'm very high on at the wide receiver position. But not to mention, we also have Ricky Pearsall, who's going to take another step.
I agree.
And,
he's been playing more in the slot.
Yes, he's a more creative route runner. But we also have, Eugene Trey Wilson. We're going to start calling him Trey Wilson. That's just what his number is 3. He went from number 21 to 3. His number in high school was 21. He wanted that to be his number and stuff, but somebody talked this child into getting number 3, and his name is Trey. So we're gonna Trey. He's going Trey Wilson. He is going to do a lot of numbers. We're talking about Zachariah Branch on what he did with the ball in his hands on kick returns. Now I'm gonna be the first person to tell you if you haven't heard yet.
But we haven't bounced back on that, man.
With him,
that's crazy. We done talked about USC and did not even mention Zachariah Branch.
Bro. That kid, that man.
But first of all, let's mention this kid should be in high school right now. Like,
he's got to say something.
He reclassified. He should be in high school right now. So we're a kickoff return, 95 yards.
And you should have seen the patience on the kick return.
Three receptions.
He took about 4 steps, slowly peeping the hole open up. And as soon as it opened, he just took it out. Reminded me of Antonio Callaway when he took that punt return against Alabama in the SEC championship.
Like the
patience. The patience, like you can't teach that.
Mm-mm.
You can't teach a person that's getting the ball patience like that. Like that, the way that he executed that kick return. Man, that's a beautiful ball. And I remember hearing the commentator when he said, great job. Like, he's literally talking to this kid who should be in high school. Yeah. So, yes, good. That is a great job. I mean, that's what he said when he was making that play.
Freshman, it's San Jose State, but if we're going to respect Caleb Williams' stat line, all-purpose yards, we're 30 away. 40 away from Caleb Williams was Zachariah Branch.
That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane.
So, I mean, I didn't even talk about the punt returns. 3 punt returns, 66 yards, 232 all-purpose yards. This kid.
Kid can play. He said that he wanted to win a Heisman. He wanted to win that. The
Lindenkoff?
Yep, the receiver award. And he wants to be a first-round draft pick. And, bro, he's on a great first game. Yeah. In order to manifest something like that.
Once again, should be in high school. But,
that's exactly
back on. Let's go ahead with the Florida. I mean, you're going Florida.
I got Florida, and I'm not saying it's going to be
covering 6.5. So you got Florida plus 6.5.
I got Florida plus. I got Florida. I say we're going to take the game for about 2 scores. Just because off the gate we'll score first possession. There's nobody stopping our athletes.
Right.
And if we have the play dialed up, I'm talking about the play, that one spark play to take that crowd right out of the game. You get that? That's ours. That's our game to lose at that point because we have the better athletes. We play in the better conference, and we have the better players. It's just something that you have to take and you got to run with it. That's why we won last year with the first start of Anthony Richardson's career, first official start, with Billy Napier's debut in the Florida Gator uniform. This coach that Utah has been there since the 90s.
Yeah, Winningham.
And
been a while.
And his first time meeting up against Billy Napier, he's 0-1.
My thing is, too, week 1.
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything, but you do know that Utah is going to come out physical.
Physical, yeah.
Is Florida's not too crazy in the finesse game, but they're kind of getting there under Billy.
Billy's getting his kids.
Are they ready, coming straight out of a brutal fall camp down there in Florida, I'm sure. Yeah. Brutal fall camp. Are they ready? Come straight in week 1 against a premier opponent like Utah, somebody that's going to hit you in the mouth.
Absolutely. With the chip on the shoulder, the team showed it last year, But the difference in doing it last year, it's like your first game playing for this guy. You don't really know if this guy really feels you, really likes you. But now you got these guys that's been under his belt for a year now. Yeah. And so now they're bought in 100% rather than if they was. And when I say 100% last year, you're just saying 100%. There's no emphasis on 100% because those guys was bought in because they could have left them alone left.
Yeah.
But now these guys are bought 110% in on Billy. They're going to play 10 times harder because they also know that this staff is their second year in too.
2 scores up.
I'm 2 scores. I'm 2 scores Florida. Very confident in them just going up there and just taking care of business.
Utah minus 2.5, 3. I think it's gonna be that close. But yeah. I'm going to Utah side just for the physicality factor. New quarterback there. We still don't know what Utah. That's really what's got me on the fence. Cam Rising's playing. Utah.
If Cam Rising was 100%, I was going to go Utah anyways because of what he did to us. But all this speculation of him hurt and all this, it's just like he's not going to be 100%.
So I'm speculating that he is playing. So I'm minus 3 Utah. But
you ever heard of the name Cam Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna create with Desmond Watson. Those two big boys. There's no running up the middle. There's just no running up the middle. You better bounce it outside.
We'll transition another big kind of big game. The Michigan Wolverines there, Eastern Carolina. Not a familiar foe there. A little kind of weird matchup, but what's your take on that?
ECU's been known to knock big dogs off every now and then, but I just don't see this year starting it off that way, unless it's a Cinderella story. It's like Appalachian State in Michigan.
It's in the Big House, Michigan, minus 36. What do we think there? Cover?
Is it McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We covering 36 or? I'm not
giving them that.
No, I think ECU may have 14. A couple surprises. They're going to sustain a couple drives.
I'll give them 14-21.
But
three scores is hard.
Week 1, we'll see. Of course, we're both Michigan there. Okay. Michigan. I don't know that I have them covering, but I'm Michigan there. We got UVA, Tennessee. I believe that game is in Charlotte.
So it's neutral site?
Charlotte, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Tennessee minus 28. I don't know about that either. I really don't. Tony Elliott, UVA. Guys probably are familiar with that name. Was there Clemson forever. Kind of Kelly Bryant eras. A little bit with Trevor Lawrence. But, I think it's going to be a game where your defenses are going to be off the field for 2 minutes at a time. They're going to
Joe Milton isn't what y'all are putting Joe Milton out to be, and that's all the platforms saying Joe Milton is a Heisman front runner.
It's going to be close.
If it's not Hendon Hooker, like if it's not what you have expected from him, it's going to be a close
Hendon
game.
Hooker, he was great, SEC Offensive Player of the Year, but I'm to a point the way Tennessee
runs that offense.
Tennessee's roster's built this year. The defensive front, defensive secondary, offensive front. They've had to kind of bring some transfers in there because of some departures. But I think if you're anything less than what Hendon Hooker was, you're not in for the year you want to.
No, you're not going to do what you replicated. You got the long ball. That's one thing that I can say that you might not even consistently have because.
But did those guys up front
give them the
hold
time
up long enough for you
to get the ball out there?
Are your receivers? I mean, you have Keaton's back. I think
Tate.
You're Keaton. You got McCoy, Brett McCoy, Squirrel White. I mean, he has some guys, but I mean, we're gonna see. Like I said, I believe if you're anything less than what Hendon was, you're not. You're 10-2 is your ceiling.
I'm giving them.
If you're anything,
I'm giving them the win, but 10 points.
10.
That's all I can give them.
I'm gonna go at least 17. I'll go 17. They'll figure it out late third quarter.
Late third quarter, I can see that too.
Turn it on a little bit. So yeah, we're both UT there. Yeah, I'm at least 17. Colorado TCU 21.
This one
minus 21 TCU. A little interesting there.
Very interesting. I'll start this one off
Deion's
because
first game.
It's Deion Sanders' first Power 5 game and first Power 5 opponent. It's coming off of a team with a chip on their shoulder after losing in a horrible fashion and a national championship.
Yeah.
Teams, people, everybody feels they didn't deserve to make it there. So I know TCU's gonna feel that they want to prove that they should have been there. And
world, remember this name, Trey Sanders, running back TCU. You guys been through hell and back at Alabama. Transferred in from Alabama to TCU. Remember that name. That's a guy that's gonna pop off. He's a guy that 5-star coming out of IMG out of high school. Predicted he'd win the Heisman at Alabama, but things got in that awful car wreck and stuff. Things just kind of didn't work out in his favor, but now it's got a second chance at TCU, so that's a name I'll be looking for in that game. But I am. What's your take on Deion's first game? Like, what do you expect there?
What do I expect?
Do you know, like?
Yeah, I don't know what I expect.
I don't even know what to expect.
What I want to see though is I want to see how you pronounce this? Shador. I want to see him put the world on notice. Yeah. Let him know, like, this ain't daddy ball.
Yeah, kid's a good player.
Yeah, because from what I've seen at Jackson State, the kid had it in him. Like, he
processes defenses well.
Yeah.
He
goes through progressions.
He's gonna be familiar with the system. I'm sure it's been familiar playing for his dad. I mean, you're Travis Hunter, you're Kermani McClain. Defensively, I mean, they may surprise some people, but obviously, I mean, I think this early in the season, these defenses have
they're gonna run all over
that's what I'm saying.
Colorado.
Yeah.
I think Colorado is gonna get smashed in their mouth with the run game.
Yeah. Trey Sanders gets crazy.
Yeah.
Are we saying?
And that controls your clock.
So
not much anymore because first downs don't stop the clock.
Trey Sanders, Big 12 Player of the Week, first or week 1.
I can see it. I sure can see Trey Sanders doing that with how, like you said, the chip on his shoulder that he has, what he's been through.
So I have TCU covering there. 21. I mean, I think maybe for a while Deion can compete
with him in the first.
Pull something out of his pocket or something and
show some flashes and show some fight.
They'll show some fight, but I'm TCU there covering. UT Martin, Georgia. Man, there's not even a spread for this. We're all Georgia, but I do want to see some things. I will tell people. I do want to say though, if that offense doesn't look national championship worthy the first couple weeks, I don't think people need to freak out because. I mean,
their schedule is soft enough for them to play like shit.
Yeah, they have time to figure shit out. They have the schedule. It's all in Georgia's favor. Defense, I think they returned over 70% of production last year from national championship defense. So I don't see them really taking a step back. I do see them being in a couple dogfights this year, though.
Yeah, and I do see them not being able to get into the same scenarios that they did last year.
Yeah.
They can't fall behind like they did against Missouri.
No.
And they can't let... I mean, Tennessee put up a lot of points against them last year, if I'm not mistaken. Like 21.
And that game's at Neyland this year. Circled for a lot of people. But, I mean, as far as UT Martin here in Georgia, like I said, that whatever the number is, Georgia's covering. Yep. I believe Georgia's 2s and 3s will be playing early second half. So, I mean, will you agree on that one? Next one, we're kind of interesting. We're West Virginia, Penn State. Like we said before the show started, college football is better when West Virginia's good.
Yep.
Stedman Bailey, Geno Smith, Tavon. There's been some dudes there, but Neil Brown, dude. Will Grier. What was his name? The receiver, David Seals.
Yep.
That dude was cold. But I mean, Neil Brown doesn't. He's probably, of all Power 5 head coaches, top 5 on the hot seat right now. I mean, I think if he loses first 3 games of the year, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're spread-wise here, we're 20.5 Penn State.
It's at Penn State?
It's in Happy Valley. I honestly I see James Franklin and them achieving that number. Yeah. I really do. Next one, we're Carolina Battle, sorry. UNC, South Carolina. It's sitting at 2.5 UNC right now, but I'm going the other way.
I'm going the other way, too. South Carolina close off the year.
I'm going the other way, and I'm going at least 7 the other way. I may go 10 the other way. Yeah. I think I just have a weird feeling that
Beamer Ball.
Beamer Ball and Spencer Rattler are gonna show up. Duke's Mayo Bowl. I really think Spencer Rattler's gonna have a year, man. If they, I mean, the way they progressed going through last year, I think they won 7-8 straight. If they can keep that train rolling, bro, it's. Yeah. So I'm marking that out. Are we in agreement there?
Yeah.
I'm probably 7 USC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all in on South Carolina. Middle Tennessee State, Bama, we're sitting at 39. As a Bama fan, I'm not taking it. Not that much. No, not that much. Not week 1. I know how Saban is.
20 boy?
Yeah. I'm going, well, I'll give it more than 21. I'll go 35. No, I'll go
28.
I'll go 32. Bama minus 32. That's what I'm going to go. I just know how Saban is. I mean, if he'll call the dogs off. What goes around comes around. But as far as in that game, we're very intrigued on what quarterback situation is going to be. I mean, we'll be at that game. So, I mean, we'll kind of get a little bit of insight on the quarterback situation there because obviously College Game Day that following week is there in Tuscaloosa with Texas coming to town. But a lot of people, I mean, all we're hearing is who's going to be quarterback at Alabama. What's Nick Saban going to do at quarterback? Who's going to be quarterback? Who's going to be quarterback? But the advantage, I psychologically, I kind of think it's an advantage to Nick Saban.
Yeah.
You played those 3 guys heavily in that week 1. What does Steve Sarkisian prepare for?
He prepares 3 different scenarios, and
when
that's 3 different scenarios.
That's what I'm saying.
The defense has to.
You're preparing for one guy, wasting time when you could be preparing for the other that's going to be playing. That's just the way I look at it. Like I don't know. Nick Saban's just always thinking, man. And if he's as sharp as he's been, which I don't see him dropping off much, I just feel like psychologically he's using this he's not going to name a starter. He's came out and said that even when whoever takes the first snap against Middle Tennessee State is not necessarily a starter.
So quit asking.
I'm not telling you, but I guess so I'm 32 there, Middle Tennessee State, Bama, minus 32 Bama. At least 32. I mean, maybe 28. But then on Sunday, we're another big game. This
LSU
and LSU, Florida State.
Florida State. Oh,
I'm starring this one, man. We're minus 2.5. LSU's Vegas number right now, but early entry for game of the year, I think.
Yeah. Last year was a great game too.
I think here, so like, close out the week 1 of college football. We get that Florida State LSU game, and like I said, minus 2.5 LSU. But Mason Smith missing up front, the suspension back in 2021. Him and Keyshawn Butte signing autographs. What's your take on that, man? Why is he getting suspended now?
Yeah, with NIL being
Butte got suspended then,
and he's getting suspended now.
Yeah,
that's
just because it came out. Like NCAA do better. Like like even like going on the Reggie Bush stuff.
Give him his Heisman back.
Give him if
that's
we're
all you gotta do at this point.
Literally, Johnny Manziel came out with a documentary admitting to the same stuff that Reggie Bush did. And
Reggie Bush still can't get his Heisman.
Give him his Heisman. But back on the mark of the LSU Florida State, who you got here, man?
Who do I have
What do
here?
you think?
I have LSU covering
2.5.
Yeah, I got him.
LSU
I think
2.5.
Jaden Daniels. What's that receiver's name?
Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, Neighbors.
You got Brian Thomas Jr., you got Mason Taylor up front. They're going to be decent. Emory Jones, Will Campbell out there. Did you see that? You know how LSU does that, the best player on their roster every year from the state of Louisiana gets to wear the number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Their left tackle this year.
Where's number 7?
I mean, I guess he can't technically wear it, but that's on their official roster. I guess that's where he's listed.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah, but so
they acknowledge the real best player.
you're going LSU to cover. I think Man, I just want to be different week 1. I'm gonna go same number,
But
Neg-
FSU.
negative. Yeah, -2.5. Well, I'm gonna go Florida State, man. I just think Jordan Travis, that they got some big receivers,
Trey Benson
big
too is a
wideouts.
problem.
Trey Benson. I think Mason Smith missing for LSU. I mean, that's a vital position there.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Benson is physical. Florida State's going to be physical. There's going to be an interior run game there.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to at least try to establish it. So I think Mason Smith missing is.
They're key.
I think that is not necessarily the key for the game, but a key,
Yeah.
big key. Like,
It was a big one last season.
so I'm going the other way. I'm Florida State -2.5. Jordan Travis, show out for me, baby. Trey Benson, let's go. Then follow suit there. We're Monday. We're Clemson, I believe at Duke. We're -12.5 Clemson. I believe that number will be. I mean, Cade Klubnik. It's the
He just looks
Right.
like a Clemson
Yeah,
quarterback, man.
it's-
He just looks like that's his offense.
yeah, and like it's the post DJ era. I believe Clemson fans will be kind of happy about that.
Yeah.
Needed to change the scenery there, but I mean, as far as Duke, I don't know how much they're going to have for Clemson week 1. So I think that's a pretty safe number to go there. What do you think?
Yeah.
Both in agreement there?
Yeah. Have it yet.
Both in agreement there. And then Thursday, there's another big game Thursday, isn't there?
This Thursday?
No, that's
Florida.
Florida, Utah. So, yeah, I mean, we've kind of touched base on everything. I mean, got anything else you think? I mean, what?
Not really, but
Just
I feel like we're going to be talking about Zachariah Branch.
Yeah,
a lot this season.
A whole lot, guys. Stay with us on that. Like, I think college football's in for a lot of change this year. I'd like to see a receiver or something win the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't it be an odd year like the COVID year?
Yeah. With Devontae.
But, guys, appreciate y'all tuning in. We're a little quick tonight, but it's starting this week.
Yep.
Once we're back in it.
The season really gets going, we'll talk all day for you. We'll have updates. Our social medias are going to be running. We're going to get more. We're going to have a Facebook page, the YouTube page. We're not even going to go live on this YouTube channel.
Tune in. We'll
every
have
day.
social media platforms, like he said. We're going to get our logo and everything popping. But kind of just wanted to touch base with y'all. These first 2 episodes kind of getting us off the ground. But appreciate y'all tuning in. And we'll see y'all this weekend. I mean, it's college football time.